I'm trying to get that dough. Every day is another struggle. This is my life. So what if my plans that low? Just sit back.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another video. Before I even get started, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I've been getting a lot of subscribers lately, and I've been getting a lot of views on my video, which is awesome. In the videos that have like real high views, I've definitely seen a lot of likes. So make sure you hit that like button so I can go up in the algorithm so you can see me more on your homepage or your timeline. We're gonna get into this video. It's top 10 unsettling crossbreeding experiments. So this video is gonna be 22 minutes. Bear with me. Hopefully you stay to the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Human. In October of 1984, Stephanie Faye Beauclair, otherwise known as Baby Faye, was born with hypoplastic left heart syndrome, meaning the left side of her heart did not grow properly. Sadly, no human heart donor could be found. So they decided to give her the heart of a baboon. In fact, she was the first infant who got a heart from an animal, and at this time, no infant had successfully received a heart transplant, even with a human heart. But it worked for Baby Faye. Sadly, she lived for less than a month before passing away. In our 9th spot today, we have the human mouse. Mice are constantly being experimented on in labs. This time, scientists in Japan tried to create a human mouse. Basically, they injected a mouse with human stem cells. They did this in an attempt to grow a human pancreas in the animal, but due to backlash, they have certain rules in place. At any point during the experiment, if the mouse is said to start developing a human-type brain, then it has to be killed and the experiments have to stop. Thank gosh though, because I'm not trying to have the world ruled by weird mutant human mice. No thank you. In our 8th spot today, we have the mice with human brain. So I know I just finished saying how the mice were killed if any human DNA was found in the brain, but in 2005, a professor at Stanford University was given permission to create a mouse-human hybrid. He did so by transplanting human brain stem cells into the brains of mice. Now, the main goal of his experiment was to be able to study neurodegenerative diseases like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. Now, the first couple of rounds did not go so well. They found less than 1% of human cells in the rodent's brain. But by 2010, they found success. That's when they managed to, and I quote, use mouse stem cells to develop sensory hair cells which could combat human hearing loss. They also managed to make...
Sorry, that was my cat. She makes a whole bunch of noise and does the most, so yeah.
The mice more human, as in the mice with the human brain cells were far more intelligent than the other mice. In our 7th spot, we have the human Z. Over the years, a number of scientists have run some wild tests on chimpanzees. Now, what makes these mammals of interest to them is because of how similar they are to humans. Humans and chimps share 98.8% of their DNA, hence why scientists are trying to make a chimp-human hybrid. Ilya Ivanov was the first person to attempt to create a human-chimp hybrid. Ilya continued these experiments until the 1920s. During that time, the Soviet Union was also running the same experiments. In 2019, rumor has it that a team of researchers from the Salk Institute for Biological Studies in the US successfully produced the first human-monkey chimeras. So yeah, I don't really know how I feel about that. I don't know. In our 6th spots, we have the conga. In the early 2000s, when scientists unearthed the conga skeletons in northern Syria, they had no idea what they were looking at. The skeletons looked like they belonged to horses, but they dated back to 2600 BC, and domestic horses wouldn't appear in the region for another 500 years, so they were a bit confused. Then they realized that this wasn't a horse, it was a human-bred animal. In fact, this animal was a cross between a donkey and a wild ass. Apparently, back then, they were highly valuable and very expensive. Now, it's believed that these congas were created for warfare, because not only could they pull wagons, but it was believed that they would be tougher. The thing with donkeys is that they would get scared easily and they didn't need their donkeys running off mid-battle. But the wild asses, no one could tame them. So then they would breed them together and bam, created an animal more desirable for them. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the human pig.
That's crazy.
Stream
A lot of
85
them,
plus live channels with no hit.
A lot of the crossbreeding shit is just like, it's too much for me. Like, I cannot, like, feel like that's how, like, when you start crossbreeding, that's how shit gets created that you don't want, like different viruses and just I'm really not into that. Really not into that.
Halfway mark with the human pig hybrid. The whole crossing humans with animal thing definitely creeps me out, but this one isn't what you think. They aren't creating a creature that is half human and half pig. Thank gosh, at least not yet. Instead, they are using the pigs to grow human organs inside of them instead of having patients wait for a donor. The first experiment was run in 2017,
but see, no,
and an embryo was
like,
placed in an adult pig for...
I'm sorry. Pigs, to me, I love all animals, but pigs to me are probably like the most filthiest animals. Like the most dirtiest, most filthiest animals. So when I hear about them trying to mix human with pig, it just is grotesque to me. Like, pigs are just unclean, unkept, very filthy. They eat anything. Like, they eat their own, they eat shit. They eat each other. Like, they're just as bad as cockroaches, if you ask me. Probably worse. So the fact that they be trying to, like, put pig and human together, to me is just like, it's disgusting. Like, ugh.
4 weeks. Then it was taken out to analyze, and the embryo survived and contained some human cells. Now they are going to figure out if pig embryos can handle enough human cells to create full human organs. However, a lot of people are against these experiments, saying that it is highly unethical. In our 4th spot, we have the dogs. A number of the dog breeds that you love have been severely crossbred, and when dog breeders get overcome by greed, they start to care more about money than they do about their dog's health. Take a look at this dog right here. This is a dog that suffers from short spine syndrome. You can see it has a squished body, huge jaw, and a really bad underbite. The dog was born from backyard breeding. The breeder was carelessly breeding a bunch of his dogs together. And this is the result, which is heartbreaking to see. And most of the time, these dogs are put down as no one wants to adopt them. Coming in at number 3, we have the virus Chimera. In 2017, Portuguese researchers decided to mess around with a mouse virus to create a chimera virus. Basically, a mouse virus with a human viral gene. Now, you're probably concerned like me, because I read this and I'm like, oh, they're trying to create another outbreak or something. But no, apparently this allows them to study viruses and how it impacts the rodent's body. But I will say that accidental outbreaks have occurred. In our 2nd spot, we have the rabbit-human mix. In 2003, a team of scientists in Shanghai managed to fuse human cells with rabbit eggs. In the United States, scientists have been trying to do the same thing, but their attempts were always unsuccessful. Move over, American scientists, the one in Shanghai, beat you to it. Now, this experiment was done to see if it can be used to grow cells or tissues for transplant patients. However, this experiment also had strict rules, and once the rabbit had human cells in its brain, it had to be destroyed. So they only let the human rabbit develop for a couple of days before they killed it and harvested it for stem cells. And in our number 1 spot today, we have the human demon sheep. Now, this is gonna keep you up at night for sure. In 2017, villagers in South Africa were horrified when a sheep gave birth to something that didn't look like a lamb, okay? In fact, it looked eerily human-like. As a result, people in the village were freaking out, saying that whatever was born was done by the works of the devil. In fact, rumor has it that this lamb was created from someone injecting the sheep with human sperm. Now, the lamb was stillborn, so it wasn't born alive. But still, how creepy is that? And many people in the village were convinced that beast and or witchcraft were behind this creature. Starting off this countdown, we have the rat pigs. The Salk Institute for Biological Studies in the US has been known to run a number of crossbreeding experiments. One was performed on rats and pigs. The team of scientists decided to take stem cells from rats and inject them into pig blastocysts. However, this failed, and I mean, I'm not surprised.
I'm gonna stop the video right there. Yeah, I'm not into the whole crossbreeding situation. Like, that shit is weird. I'm gonna stop the video right there because I think it's like multiple top 10s, so I'm just gonna do just the first top 10. Maybe I'll come back in another week or two and do each top 10 like that, but I'm not gonna finish the rest of them because it's pointless. But yeah, when it comes to the crossbreeding thing, I never was into it. I never it's grotesque to me. Like, I understand that sometimes they do things for like research purposes when it comes to humans, but it's like, it's just certain things like I'm not into that. So I'm cool. I don't want a pig's heart. I don't want a pig's lungs. I don't want a pig's nothing. Like, and that was the first time I ever heard of them taking a baboon, anything, and putting it into an actual person. So that was a really interesting video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.
Done it all, been through it all. I walked over the motherfucking fire with sandals. Gonna burn your feet eventually.